Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. And again, if you're new here, the biggest thing we're focusing on is how to really dive deeper into our health, wellness, and performance for entrepreneurs and high-level executives. Because as we know, we cannot be the best versions of us if we're not looking after ourselves. We can't lead, we can't do anything well. And when we're looking at truly growing our businesses, our lives, and truly impacting the way we want to, we have to make sure we look after who? Us first. And it's not enough just to say, oh, I'm going to exercise every day, but rather let's use data, let's use information, let's make it applicable so that we can do what's right for us, because I'm not the same as any one of you, as are the rest of you. So with that being said, be sure to like this, be sure to subscribe, be sure to share this, because these videos are coming weekly, sent right to you, sent to your inbox, so that again, you can impact the greatest change that you want in yourself. Today, we're going everything you ever want to know about heart rate variability in 5 minutes. So first things first, what is heart rate variability? Because I'm sure you've heard about it. If you're wearing any wearables, the Whoop Band, the Oura Ring, the Apple Watch, they all have heart rate variability, and it's kind of coming out to be very new. But again, I started studying heart rate variability back in 2008, and it's really been what has guided me along this journey. So heart rate variability, or better known as HRV, is literally the variance in time between the beats of your heart. So if your heart rate is going 60 beats per minute, it's not actually beating once every single second. Within that minute, there may be 0.9 seconds between two beats and 1.5 seconds between two others. So the greater the variability is, the more ready your body is to execute on a high level. So it's looking at basically the way in which our body is coping with the stress or strain that our body is under. So that is the key point in understanding what HRV is truly doing. Although HRV manifests as a function of your heart rate, it actually originates in our nervous system. So our nervous system, basically, which controls the involuntary aspects of our physiology, has two branches. The parasympathetic system, which is basically deactivating, down-regulating, and the sympathetic system, which is activating, that fight or flight system. It has to do with the brain and the spinal cord. The parasympathetic nervous system is often referred to as that rest-digest system. Okay, so it handles inputs from the organs, digestion, fingernails, hair growing, and ultimately causes a decrease in heart rate, an opening or dilating of the blood vessels and arteries, a decrease in blood pressure, decrease in muscular tone, all of these things that, again, are calming, cool, collected. The sympathetic nervous system, on the other hand, is that fight or flight and reflects responses like stress and exercise, and causes that increase in heart rate, that constriction of the blood vessels, the constriction of our muscles, all of those two things. So by knowing that heart rate variability and HRV comes from these two competing branches simultaneously sending signals to our heart, it helps us know that if we're balanced, the heart is consistently being told to beat slower by our parasympathetic system and beat faster by our sympathetic system. And this will cause fluctuation in our HRV from a day-to-day basis. And ultimately, when it measures it with what we look at and what we care about, is at night, when all voluntary actions are gone, when we're sleeping. And so at that deepest stage of sleep, that's when HRV is read, and that's how it gets us a really high quality reading. So why is HRV this sign of fitness? So when you have a high heart rate variability, it means the body is responsive to both sets of inputs, both parasympathetic and sympathetic. And this is a sign that your nervous system is balanced, that your body is very capable of adapting to its environment and performing at its best. So on the other hand, if you have a low heart rate variability, one branch is dominating, and that's usually the sympathetic branch, and sending stronger signals to your heart than the other. And so there are times when this is good, like when you're running a race, or you've got to pick a car up off of a dog, or when you are needing to get up and make a big presentation in front of people. But ultimately, you're not running a race or presenting all the time, so you want to make sure that you can allocate the resources somewhere else. However, if you're not doing those activities, that low HRV indicates that your body is working hard for some other reason. Maybe you're fatigued, you're dehydrated, you're overstressed, you haven't allowed yourself that break. You might be getting sick or already sick, and thus your body has fewer resources available to dedicate towards exercising, competing, giving presentations, creating mindful thought patterns that are really impactful for your business, your family, everything else. So to basically summarize it and take a look at it another way, the less one branch is dominating the other, the more room there is for the sympathetic side to be able to come in and dominate, which is why a high HRV suggests you're fit and truly ready to go in that fitness space. So when you're thinking about like what's a normal range for heart rate variability by age, think about from a 25-year-old. The average range for a healthy 25-year-old is somewhere between 60 and 90. Now, for a healthy 40-year-old, it's somewhere between 40 and 70. For a 60-year-old, it's somewhere between 30 and 50. So if you are within those ranges, it's called you're in the norm. But what we also know about the norm is that we don't want to be in the norm. As entrepreneurs, as executives, we want to be the peak and the pinnacle. And that's why it's so highly individualized. It's an extremely highly sensitive metric that fluctuates throughout the day from one day to the next and from one person to another. And so I often get the question is, what should my HRV be? How does my HRV compare to others? And there's a couple just generic things that we should know. Younger people have higher HRV than older people. Males have slightly higher HRV than females. Elite athletes have a higher HRV than a non-athlete. But within that subset of athletes, somebody with a higher HRV is typically an ultramarathon runner, a triathlete, somebody of that nature. But none of these are absolute. They can all change. They can all alter based upon certain habits. And that's what we really go deep into. Based upon your nutrition, based upon your hydration, based upon your sleep, based upon your exercise, based upon your mindset, based upon your environment, your immune function, your sleep, the way in which you function on a day-to-day basis. And what really truly matters is the trend of your HRV, the trend line. When it's going upwards and you see that you're actually trending positively, that means that over a month, 2-month, 3-month span, the changes you're making, your body's adapting really well and going in that higher HRV zone. Now, conversely, if you're going negatively and you're not adapting, you're going to be going downwards, which again is telling that you need to make some adjustments to the habits in which you're engaging in and day out. What factors can ultimately start to impact it? There's really 3 different categories. There's training factors, there's lifestyle factors, then there's biological factors. So training factors is like the volume of intensity, the weight that you're lifting, the distance you're running, if it's a new type of exercise, if you're not taking any rest days. Those are all your training factors, like your workouts, the activities you're doing. From our 8 controllables, like the movement and exercise category. Then there's the lifestyle factors, your diet, your exercise, your alcohol, your cardiac functions, your sleep areas. And in our 8 controllables, that really covers sleep, nutrition, hydration, self-care, immune function, environment, things that you're putting yourself in front of. And then there's the biological factors. So there's age, gender, genetics, chronic health conditions, things that you've brought up and things that are not so much changeable. But ways in which you can improve heart rate variability is training intelligently, getting the proper types of training in, exercising daily, really pushing yourself on certain days, but then backing off on others. Hydration, we talk about it all the time in the 8 controllables, getting half your body weight in ounces. If you go up to altitude, making sure you get 2/3 of your body weight in ounces. Avoiding alcohol, so making sure that you're not actually having large amounts of alcohol day in and day out. As an entrepreneur executive, you can't do that. You can't function at that high level. But knowing that, hey, when I do take in alcohol, it can affect our HRV and really suppress it for up to 5 days. The healthy diet, the 3-2-1 rule, 3 meals a day, 2 pieces of fruit a day, 1 big salad a day. If we stick to that category and stick to the quality, healthy diet that we're looking for of whole foods, it's going to be key. Quality sleep. Okay, making sure that it's not just the amount of sleep you get. You can watch that video that I did on the 12 sleep myths, truly important, but the quality and consistency of the sleep, going to bed at the same time, waking up at a similar time every single day, and how beneficial it truly is to you. So when we take a look at how we can truly apply this to our life, it's now being able to come back and say, okay, without just looking at it as a fitness metric, we want to make sure that it gives us this application to when it comes to our overall health and how we're tracking it, how it can impact us. Is what we're changing in our nutrition good? Is what's changing in our sleep good? Is our what we're changing in our environment great? Is the people we're around helping us? Is our level of hydration adequate? Is our immune function operating at a peak level? Are we getting again, if we take a look at HRV and respiration rate utilizations, we can start to detect signs of COVID before we even have symptoms. So these are all the things that we can really start to apply it with, and why HRV is such a key and important metric in operating as an entrepreneur and as an executive in our spaces and having something to track. We use data, we use metrics to run our businesses. Why would we not use data, use metrics to run ourselves and be more efficient so that we, the people controlling our businesses, can be the best versions of us? Again, if this is your first time here, love to see your questions down in the comments. Love to see you share this, like this, send this to somebody. But ultimately, make sure that you're tracking HRV with something. Your Whoop Band, your Apple Watch, your Fitbit, your Oura Ring, whatever it may be, and start tracking. And then come back to this world, like, subscribe, so you can learn how to apply HRV and use it to help run your life just like a business. Because success is different, so be different and truly own it. See you next time.